Oratory is known as big ideas, big words, and big delivery. But in my speech today, I thrive beyond that. I thrive to give you more than that, and that is wisdom. And in the process, I would like to ask you to stand by me, to give me your full ears and your ultimate attention as we discover and examine the riddle that goes beyond the conventional. Ladies and gentlemen, the late 17th century was known as a time when arts flourished like no other. It was a time known as the Renaissance. In Italian, it's known as Rinascimento. And that was a time when powerful aristocrats and bishops and archbishops patronized great artists and artisans of the time that produced remarkable, immortalized art. And those people were Leonardo da Vinci, Botticello, and Michelangelo. But the question is, what is the role of art in education? And why do we need to even examine the role of art, or the arts with the S, in education? And in today's speech, I seek to examine that with you, ladies and gentlemen. But first, before anything else, let's examine the main definitions of art and the arts. In order to avoid confusion, let me explain to you art. So art refers to all forms of recreational, non-recreational, commercial, and non-commercial activities geared toward the expression of human, non-human, worldly, and unworldly idealism. I mean, take painting, for example, or pot making, or basket making, ladies and gentlemen. This is art in itself, whether commercial or non-commercial, recreational or non-recreational. However, the arts refers to all forms of subjects in the academia, which not only is just about the appreciation of art, but it's the appreciation of art in the broadest sense. So let me explain to you in today's speech the role of the arts in education. First of all, why is art so important, ladies and gentlemen? The arts in school has taken the back seat for so long. For hundreds of years, we know that dating back to ancient Egypt, ancient Athenian democracy, or ancient Persian, art dominated the scene. Art was not only just a commercial merchant thing, but it was also taught in schools. It was taught in monasteries. However, art has taken the backseat. Think of developing countries. Think of the educational strategies today, ladies and gentlemen. Art does not dominate the education system anymore because it's not thought of as natural science. It's not thought of something that adds value to the long-term development of the society. And I will explain to you why this contradicts all that kind of misleading thoughts. First of all, arts reignites the power of creativity, innovation, self-expression, and self-liberation. You have to understand education first, ladies and gentlemen. In the book by the famous Brazilian educator, Paulo Freire, he wrote in his Spanish book, Educação como de Liberdade, and that's called Practical Education for Liberation. It says that education, the purpose is to emancipate students and people from the oppression of the states, from the oppressions of social structures. And what you can see now is people in the garbage outskirts, in the dump yards in Brazil, are turning garbage into makeshift art. And that attracts thousands and thousands of tourists, ladies and gentlemen. Art is regaining its sense of purpose. Art is regaining its sense of dominance in our society today. The role of arts in education is to show that you do not have to go to college and take a degree so that you can have a good job. If you have skills, you can go for vocational training. You can show your skills and sell your skills in other forms, ladies and gentlemen. In the US, for example, student loan has busted. And why? Because everybody is all about going to college. So art itself is a source of liberation. It allows people to continue their lives and offer means for people to move on. Number two, arts in education is basically the continuation of civilization itself. Think about how the Burmese immigrants or the refugees, the people in the minority group, are now singing their national anthems, are now communicating their history through songs, and education itself has been geared toward the process rather than the end. People immerse themselves more in art and express themselves in humanistic and non-humanistic ideals, ladies and gentlemen. It is the continuation of civilization. Think about the Angkorian period in Cambodia, for example. Without the appreciation of art, will people want to come to visit Angkor Wat and other temples? So we need to bring this back to the forefront of our education. And last but not least, it is the fusion of art subjects with social science. Art subject is considered to be just a supporting subject or a subject that does not add that much value. But the fusion of subjects, ladies and gentlemen, will lead to the integrity and the restoration of the dignity of arts and education. Thank you very much.
So my question is that what will happen if education without inclusion of art?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Du Wisasok, that's a very good question. I think that without art and education, there would be a human being without a head, ladies and gentlemen. Because think about it, 2,500 years ago, people in ancient Greece travel long distance in order to depart from the monotony and the routines of agriculture just to go to the Olympics to appreciate art or to go to formal gatherings of debates and public speaking. And think about it, that was in the ancient time. But in today, when technology has surpassed humanity and we want humanity back, not technology in control of humanity, but humanity in control of technology and of nature, and we have to understand that the inclusion of art, it's the attachment to humanity itself. Think about it, if you were not allowed to listen to music in your school, because we think that art is just a bad thing. Art is not the kind of academic subject or academic activity that students should be pursuing. Think about aesthetics, think about painting, think about graffitis, something that, well, it might be an affront to the social beauty, but think about it in a very humanly way, in also a very ideal way. The exclusion of art means the exclusion of humanity. So many people have artistic skills to contribute to us. And ASEAN, 600 million people with a diversity of cultures, and think even the EU, with so many countries and a melting pot, without the inclusion of art, that is the exclusion of diversity. And there shall be no union, there shall be no integration, there shall be no prosperity, there shall be no civilization.
Hi, Vuthy.
Hi.
I'd like to ask you if the government should channel funds away from the sciences and towards the arts in education.
Can I clarify your question? But do you mean geographically or in the general sense?
No, in a general sense. If they've only got a certain budget to spend on education, surely it's more important to spend it on sciences and practical subjects.
If you take the example of the US, gosh, this topic is hard. The question is also hard. If you take the example of the US, for example, the No Child Left Behind policy of the Bush era, which has extended to beyond that, we can see that there has been great emphasis on natural science, math, physics, astronomy, and all that. And I think that it's very natural that once we bring art to the forefront. And when I say to the forefront, it's not just like the most dominant realm in the education, but give it value, give it more importance, bring back the Renaissance again. Yes, you will have to channel funds away from the natural science, but that does not mean that the funding vacuum for the natural science subjects cannot be filled, right? We have the Open Society Foundation, you have the British Council, you have so many, the Rockefeller Foundation. I think that we just need to use funds with good economies of scales, and we use it in the right way. And I believe that the vacuum can be filled. And I don't think that the channeling of funds from a proportion from natural science subjects to art will lead to chaos on earth.